I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we journey back to wartime Britain with a gripping and emotional tale. A tale of courage, sacrifice, and unexpected heroism. The name of the book, Kate's War, a novel. It's written by acclaimed author Linda Stewart Henley. In the book, she introduces us to a young woman whose dreams are halted by the onset of World War II, but whose bravery finds a new purpose in helping others. If you're drawn to historical fiction, unforgettable heroines, and stories that speak to the heart, you won't want to miss this amazing book. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Linda, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
This book feels very real. Is it based on anybody you know or a story you heard? Tell us a little bit about the inspiration.
Well, the story was inspired by my father's unpublished memoir. He was in the Navy, the Royal Navy, during World War II, and he had an experience during his time there that he never talked about. I never knew about it until after he died and read his memoir, which was just notes, really, about his life. And I was astonished that something so important and dramatic had never been talked about. But you know, during those days, that generation didn't usually talk about the war, and they had the Official Secrets Act, which forbid people to talk about special things that they knew about. So I just thought the story was worth telling, and that's what generated my book, really.
That must have been a terrific find to find your father's memoir as a collection of notes about his life after his death, because I know when you lose your parent, there's so many conversations you wish you had, so many questions that you're left with. And your dad filled in a bunch of blanks for you and actually gave you the groundwork for a novel, right?
Yeah, he never knew because he didn't even know I wrote novels because he died before my first one was published. But I wanted to honor him, and this is one way of doing it, I thought.
Oh, without a doubt. Give us an overview of the story of Kate's War.
Tell about the story?
Yeah, just give us an overview. Yep.
Okay, it's based on, well, of course, it's historical fiction. So the events that occurred during the war, the first year of the war, before the Blitz, that's the period, and it does reflect the times. But I'm trying to show the story about an ordinary family and how they dealt with the onset of war, how they had to prepare, how they had to manage, the adjustments they had to make. And Kate, who's the 20-year-old protagonist, has a special problem because she's just trying to start her life. And when the war is declared, she has to put everything on hold and change all her plans and adjust. And it's the story of how she adjusts and has to change her goals and changes herself as a result of that first year in the war.
Yeah. And those, I guess, in many ways are common experiences for that generation. Nobody expected this war to upend their lives the way it did. Some people went and fought, some people got injured, some people died, some people lost their loves as they were left at home. Other people were forced into hiding because of their religion. That's one aspect of your story. Talk to us about the Jewish girl seeking refuge.
Well, Kate, the 20-year-old, is a teacher, and she has a Jewish student in her class, her singing class. She teaches singing. And her mother, the girl's mother, comes to talk to Kate to say that she's very worried that something may happen to the family. She doesn't say that she's Jewish because Jews in those days in England didn't want to be known because they could be deported. There was prejudice against them, anti-Semitism and all that. So Kate agrees to undertake responsibility for this 11-year-old girl if something happens to the parents. And that's what happens. The parents are arrested in the middle of the night. That actually did happen to Jewish families, and they were sent away. No one knew where. So Kate then takes responsibility for this young girl, and that's part of the story. It's
And
just,
Kate,
it's actually a subplot. It's not the main
yeah,
story.
it is a subplot, but it was an
Yeah,
intriguing subplot, no doubt.
yeah.
Now, Kate has a speech disability as well, right?
Well, I made that up. I wasn't sure I'd get away with it. I just thought, when you're writing fiction, you have to have trouble, things, obstacles that prevent people from reaching their goals.
Yeah.
And in this case, Kate's goal was to become a singer. She wanted to be one of those people who sang and inspired the troops and, become famous that way. But she had a speech impediment, which is whenever she got nervous, she got the hiccups. So
Mhm.
obviously you can't really sing if you're getting the hiccups. And I wasn't sure I'd get away with that. I thought people might say that was really ridiculous, but people actually tell me they like that.
Yeah.
It
Well,
seemed
I think those
believable.
are the
So
things when people aren't perfect, the imperfections are what make it feel real because nobody really
yes.
is perfect. Everybody's got some kind of challenge or cross to bear, no doubt. How did the war change Kate's understanding of independence and purpose?
Um, how did it change her understanding of
Of
just,
independence and
oh,
purpose in
independence?
life?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in England, I think it's still true now, but it was a big deal when you turned 21. You weren't actually an adult until you were 21. They would celebrate that, the coming of age thing. And Kate was almost there. She was 20 and really longed to have a life away from her family and start her singing career and get a flat in London and all that. And then the very day that she's thinking of moving out, telling her family she's going to do that, war is declared and everything shuts down. So she can't be independent in that way anymore. But throughout the book, she actually becomes independent in other ways. She takes on responsibility she doesn't expect. And so by the end of the book, even though she's still, well, she goes back home for a while, but she's not going to stay and she's going to have a different kind of life. So that's really has to give up independence for the short term and then gains it in the long term, which is what most people had to do in the war. They had to put their lives on hold and then wait until things were over.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
I think the battles on the home front in many ways are just as intriguing as the battles on the front lines, because again, it's ordinary people thrust into extraordinary circumstances where heroes are revealed by their actions, no doubt, like Kate's heroism is revealed. Have you envisioned this perhaps as a film or a miniseries or something like that? No?
Oh,
Oh, I
no.
think it would be a terrific film. I think you've got such a wonderful character in Kate, and I think you've got so many good subplots, and I think you also have such a wonderful backdrop of World War II. I think it'd be a terrific film, or
Well,
I
thank
see it
you. If
more
you
as a
could introduce me to any screenwriters or anyone that would like to produce it, I'd be thrilled.
well, I'll give you a shout out now. Hollywood, if you're listening, here's a book that's ready to go. That would, I think, be a great series on TV because there's a lot to it. I think a movie probably couldn't do it the justice that a 7 or 8 part series could do. So you never know. The hard work is done, the work is out there. So hopefully somebody picks it up and wants to turn it into something on the telly, as we like to say. That would be great. What do you hope readers take away from Kate's journey?
What is the, sorry,
What do you hope
sorry.
readers take away or learn from Kate's journey?
Okay. I would say that um, um, people can rise to the occasion when they need to, that when things get very difficult, even the direst of circumstances can bring out qualities in people that they never expected. So they can become heroines, not necessarily, you know, people that are going to get front page news
Yeah.
coverage, but in their own lives, they can do amazing things, overcome fear and selfishness. Actually, that's one thing Kate did. She's like many young people, and I don't mean to insult young people, but
Mhm.
they're naturally interested in themselves and trying to establish their lives. And it is a time when you focus on yourself a lot. And so Kate can't really do that anymore. She has to become gain a broader understanding of the world and of what she can do in it. And she does that. So
Yeah.
I think that's one of the not lessons. It's not a moral story.
No.
It's just, it's what happens to
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. I think those are important
I'm
life
not sure if that
lessons,
answers
though.
the question.
Yeah, you did answer the questions.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that people got to learn that most of the heroism in this world is not honored with medals and ceremonies, but it's the little things that we do in our lives that touch other people, that enhances their lives, that make us heroines and heroes, no doubt. How does Kate's War compare in tone and message to your previous books, Estelle and Waterbury Winter?
okay. I write, like some authors write series, as you were talking about. You have the same characters, you have the same setting, and you can keep going. Some of these crime novels and things, they have the same settings all the way through. None of mine are like that. They're all different. But there's one thread that they all share, and that is the importance of creative expression.
Mhm.
And so in the case of the first one, it was about painting. The second one is about painting. The third one, this one is about music, the importance of music in
Mhm.
people's lives. So that's the thread that really ties them together, the theme, that theme.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, the book we've been discussing today is called Kate's War, a novel. In it, the author introduces us to a young woman whose dreams are halted by the onset of World War II, but whose bravery finds a new purpose in helping others. If you're drawn to historical fiction, unforgettable heroines, and stories that speak to the heart, you won't want to miss this book. The links are below this interview. Linda, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed speaking with you as well. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.